Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Naya and I'm the creator behind Studio Clementine. This video, I wanted to basically start off the year with talking about exactly what I want to do for 2026 as it relates to my crafting and my makes. So I actually will be talking about a lot of the abandoned projects that I've had over the last 1 to 3 years because I want to make 2026 the year I finish all of my WIPS. And I want to chat a little bit about what I hope to learn from them and what my overall goals are with completing these projects. So if you're interested in that, grab a snack, maybe some tea, and tuck in with me while we talk about my abandoned projects. So I'm going to start the first category off with my accessories. The first of the accessories is this bonnet hood. I created it in Patons worsted wool, I believe. I'm unsure of the name, but I'll include it on the screen or in the description. But I really liked this project. This is self-drafted, so I, was kind of just making it up as I went along, essentially. I added an applied I-cord edge to the entire project, which one of the techniques I'd like to learn is being able to incorporate that while I'm already working it up. I think that helps with creating more consistency with how it actually is around the edges. You'll see in some points where it kind of warps just a little bit. But all in all, I did enjoy the process of adding it after the fact. Some of the things that I want to change about this particular pattern and what I'm hoping to learn in the next iteration of it is adding some more width to the tie section. I think that it fits a bit awkwardly and very tight around my neck. Also adding some length because I think that also contributes to that fitting issue. The back portion fits and sits a little weird on the back side of my head, and I think it's because it's not long enough or it doesn't incorporate the flaps within it as well. And overall, after blocking it, the fit is very wobbly and just not very good when it comes to face framing. So I do plan to frog this and rework it with keeping those things in mind. I would like to also work on it in a different color, maybe like a baby blue, and hopefully this is something that I finish relatively soon. It's been very, very cold on the East Coast, and my hope was to have finished this so that I could wear it, but it still is a work in progress. The next accessory is actually in crochet. So I'll show you the first version that I made and then show you the second version that is the one that I really am hoping to finish this year. So this is the first version. It's supposed to be a bag where it follows like this crescent shape. I think this one is more saddle shaped. But don't quote me on that because I'm not really sure. But I did try to do a slightly different construction. I think I was just a little worried about how I was going to attach straps to it, which caused me to stop making this particular version. But I do overall love the shape, love how it came out. I love how it, doesn't have any gapping or anything like that. Overall, I do think this could still work as a pattern, but I still need to figure out exactly what I'm trying to accomplish with this one. But with that said, it inspired me to create a different version that I think is more aligned with what I'm trying to recreate. So the bagu style of bags, the crescent shape is really what I'm modeling this after, and I think that this version helps to achieve that overall shape that I would like to get. I also used Loops and Threads classic cotton yarn, but this time in tomato. And I really like the way that this came out. I feel like using that yarn, it's a bit structured, so it's a bit thicker than typical yarn. Some other features that I want to add to this is adding bows at each end where the straps are going to meet for the bag. This is just the first version of it. I didn't really like how it was sitting on here, so I will redo it, but I just wanted to figure out exactly the sizing of the bow and like, you know, where I was going with that particular vision. But overall, I would like to add in a zipper, add some lining to it, and I think I've decided that for the strap for this bag, I want one that can be easily adjusted. So I will buy a different strap for it and then add it to the bag. I really don't like crochet or knit straps. I just feel like over time they'll stretch and I really don't want to have to deal with that. And I also want to, again, incorporate that ability to adjust the bag height and length. So I'm really excited about this. I wrote down all of the notes, so I'm thinking that once I actually go full steam ahead and finish all of the features of it, I'll be able to make a second version just to make sure that I have all my ducks in a row and then put it out for testing. So I'm really excited about this one. My last accessory actually is another, I don't know if you noticed the common theme here, but red is seemingly a big staple in all of the accessories that I've worked up. So this will be no different. I really love the like bandana style, like really large scarves that people wrap around, especially for the colder months. And I wanted to recreate that. So I decided to do a striped version, which I'm absolutely in love with how it worked up. I think it looks perfect. There are some imperfections with the overall construction, but I think the striping itself looks really good. I really enjoyed that. So some construction issues that I have, really loving the width of the project. I think the length of it, it's really going to be great to wrap around and like have that extra fabric. But I will say that in making the tie portion, I was really winging it. A lot of my self-drafted projects are just that, me winging it. So I didn't really have a concept of how I wanted the kind of the skinnier parts of the scarf to be able to tie around each other. So I want to frog at least most of this so that I can go back and just, I think that I'll just have to be patient and continue the slow increases up here to create one that fits a lot better and ties a lot better. But overall, I love how this came out. Essentially, my overall goal with doing all of these self-drafted patterns is that I want to be able to create garment patterns for folks to potentially buy, purchase, make their own things. I think that I've always been scared of pattern making, specifically anything that's wearable, because I'm nervous about the math and kind of wondering even if I'm qualified enough or creative enough to create something that people are interested in making themselves. But I really want to abandon that fear this year. I think if I like it, there's going to be someone out there that also likes it, and I just kind of have to go into it with, this is something that I want to learn. I'm going to consume media and other resources to be able to learn the parts of it that scare me, which is like grading, sizing, drape, all of that stuff, and the techniques that'll help me to accomplish that. So the next two groups of WIPS, I'll be talking about wearable garments. So let's go into it. The first is going to be tops, and then we'll round off with outerwear. So the first is a top that I think this is probably the oldest project that I have in the group that I'm showing you. I made this in, let me see the yarn here. This is in Lion Brand 24/7 cotton, and the color is bay leaf, which I really love the color of it. Green is also a color that I really like, but don't have a lot in my wardrobe. So that was kind of the inspiration behind creating a project, a wearable project in that color. One of the drawbacks of this particular project is, even though I did a gauge swatch, I have a tendency to make things a lot bigger than what they should be. So this fits pretty wide on me, and I don't think will work really as just a top. So my thought is, instead of frogging it and starting over, I will actually continue it on and make like a loose fitting dress. I think that'll be really cute. It'll finish like right above the knee and might be something that I can wear in the spring, maybe layer a t-shirt under it. And then in the summer, hopefully if this is breathable enough fabric, I can wear it in the summer as well. I did these I-cord ties to connect both sides, which is a really cute feature that I like. And overall, I think if I go into finishing it off as a dress, I think this will be a great staple within my wardrobe. I did write down the notes for this, but I have this terrible habit, which is a common theme throughout most of the self-drafted things that I've done, is that I'll write the notes in random places, whatever I have at my disposal at the time, and then I don't keep track of them. So this is definitely one that I will have to remake to actually write down the instructions for it. But I'm excited about making this one a dress. The next top that I have, and the last top that I have actually, is this self-drafted vest. So initially, I think that I was going to make this a cardigan, but I was like, I don't think I want to work flat, like going back and forth. So I decided to work it in the round. And then at the last minute, I decided I wanted to add color work to it after working up a swatch with doing a tulip design. And I really like that as the feature for it. You can see the back too. I love that so much. But here are some things that I need to fix with this. I will be frogging the color work portion of this because when I started working this up, again, I went into it without a real plan to actually do the color work, and then decided on a whim that I was going to do it, which means that I didn't properly count the spacing in between and how many would actually be there. So there is one missing tulip in the center, and then there's also one missing tulip right by like the armpit area. So there's like a big gap, but on this side, it has one. So I will have to frog it for that reason, just up until the color work. And then the other thing, I don't really know what to do with the rest of the pattern. Do I continue doing the tulips all the way down? Do I, I'm just not sure. But I really just love how they look on there. So I feel like I still want them on there in some capacity, but I just don't know what to do. So what do you think I should do with this? Should I continue doing the tulip pattern? Should I just do that row initially of it and have the rest be blank space? What are your thoughts? This is also the first time I've done a construction where I worked on the back portion first, and then I split off to do the front two portions and then continue to join in the round. I haven't had a chance to even try this on to see if it's actually going to fit me, although I think it'll be fine. But yeah, I really like this idea. I like the concept. I want to continue it and have like a cute vest that I can wear. I'm just kind of stuck on what the pattern should be. So let me know your thoughts. But that concludes the tops portion. Now we'll move on to outerwear. So some of these are a mix of actual patterns by other makers who I'll include, and then the others are self-drafted as well. So the first is a pattern by Jewel Makes called the Eternal Seasons pattern. And I worked this up in yarn that I got from Knit Picks. So I will have to find that after this video and include it in the description and on the screen. But it's a mix of mohair and the lighter colored yarn. I don't remember what type of weight it is, but again, I'm gonna include it later. I absolutely love this pattern. The reason why I haven't finished it is because I had plans to order the lighter blue yarn because I ran out of it. I am notorious for not buying enough yarn and playing yarn chicken with myself. Do I enjoy it? No, I don't know why I keep doing it, but I love this pattern. It works up really quickly. I think this is actually like 2 days worth of progress from when I stopped working on it, and I can't wait to finish it and be able to wear it in my wardrobe. I also have seen different versions where it was made in green and pink, and now I feel like I need to make that as well. So once I finish this, I'm excited to move on and make different colors. So the next outerwear project is self-drafted. So this is a, if I can untangle it, it's still attached to the ball of yarn, but it is just a basic cardigan, but the exciting feature of it is the color worked heart on it. I don't really know what inspired me to want to make something like this. I did want to explore color work a little bit more, and it's also featured on the sleeve. And again, the theme of red and cream, I don't know, I just feel like it's classic and I like it. When did I work on this? I know that I stopped working on it because then I got to a point within the sleeve where I wasn't sure if I wanted to start decreasing to do some tapering or if I wanted to leave it wide. Also, something that I want to change is frogging the color work that is here because I did it in the round. Wouldn't recommend specifically because I think I did it a little too tight, and then it also creates like some holes around the edges. So I do plan to frog that and redo the sleeves, but they're going to be wide. I really like, and later on I'll show you the cardigan that I'm currently working on, the rolled hem look. So I think that I'm going to do that for here as well. And yeah, it's really just the sleeves that I have to finish, and then the actual button band. I also have to decide what type of buttons that I want to either buy for this or potentially make for that. So keep an eye out for when I work on this project and feature it in a video, because again, you're gonna hold me accountable for finishing all my WIPs this year. So that is definitely one that I'd love to finish. We are already in February, so the idea that I'm gonna be able to finish it for Valentine's Day, honestly, it is possible. I could be being delusional about that because it's February 1st, which means that I would have about a day less than 2 weeks to finish it. I don't know. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do that. We'll see. We'll see. Moving on. The next outerwear piece is this yellow cardigan, also in crochet. This I did a raglan construction. Never done that before in crochet, so this was really exciting. The inspiration behind this one, I wanted to have a Peter Pan collar around it, similar to kind of like how the Joni jacket looks. And then I'll include some other pictures of like what my inspiration behind it was. For whatever reason, I could not figure out for the life of me how to do that in crochet. So I'm still trying to figure that out, but overall, I am gonna frog this project because I think the neckline, I did it a little too wide, and I think that's what's contributing to my inability to finish the collar the way that I would like. All in all, love this project. I actually stopped working on it maybe around the time that I was making the Jewel Makes Eternal Seasons cardigan, I stopped working on it. Literally, it was just the, I think like the collar portion, like maybe up until here. And then just decided, okay, I really want to see this vision come to life around like October, November, and was able to finish working on this within like 3 days. No, actually like a week, to be able to finish both sleeves and the rest of the body. Oh, again, overall, I think I like the concept of it, but I just did not create it in the way that I think is conducive to really seeing my vision like to fruition. So this will be getting frogged. I also was playing around with the idea of adding a little bit of color, like pops of color. This, technically, I don't want it to be like a cardigan. I want it to be more of like a jacket almost. So we'll see. We'll see what comes of her, but I do plan to frog her, unfortunately. Yes, or maybe I should just make it in another color, like instead make it in the baby blue and then add some yellow. I don't know, but I'm excited to like work on this again. I just had to take some time away from it because the color was really frustrating me. Then another pattern that I was using, I will have to include the creator after, like in editing, because I can't remember at the moment, but I wanted to make a vest, a sweater vest, and I decided to work it in this chunky like yarn that I had left over. That's another goal of mine. I really want to use up the yarn that I already have in my stash because it's getting a little crazy. I have yarn from like years ago when I would just go to Michael's and black out a little bit. I'm a lot more responsible these days, but yeah, I decided to use this because it was similar in the yarn and color that she was using in her video tutorial, and I ended up buying her pattern because I needed to make a specific size. This one, I did initially do the ribbing all around the project. However, it came out a bit wonky and was fitting me weird, so I frogged it, and that's all that I need to finish on it, and then adding the buttons. But I really love how this came out. Her tutorial was absolutely perfect. I consider myself a visual learner, so to work through her video while I was going through each of the steps of the pattern was really, really helpful. So this is something I'm sure that I'll be able to finish like in a weekend, be able to finish the button band, but I really like how it came out. All right, so here is the last of the outerwear projects that I have for now. This is my self-drafted cardigan. I am working on it in the Loops and Thread Tweed Chenet, Heathered Tweed, sorry. I'm reading the French version. Heathered Tweed in the color Open Air. I just think that that's such a cute colored yarn. I usually do not like tweed yarn. It just doesn't really speak to me most of the time, but I guess because this one's pastel and it's like a fuzzy type yarn, it just works. So I am currently working on the body, and here is where I'm going to point out the issue that I feel that I'm having, but then I'm not sure if I'm just crazy. So let's just talk about the features of it. This one has that rolled hem that I was talking about, that I would like to incorporate for the cardigan with the heart. I love the way that this came out. I'm really happy about the construction of this as well because I did a gauge swatch, I did my measurements. I feel like everything was relatively adding up to what I had written down of like the length and how many stitches and how many rows. At some points, my gauge comes a little off from the original math from that, I guess because, you know, throughout the time that I'm knitting, my tension changes, but overall, great, great, great. I decided to stop the body and work on both of the sleeves because some common themes for me, at least for the heart cardigan, is that I don't finish the sleeves. I don't know. After a while, it just gets kind of like redundant and I'm tired of like flipping around the work. But I decided, let me do the sleeve. So the audio cut out a bit here, but I'm pointing out the fact that I thought that there was a discrepancy between the dye lots of the previous yarn that I had purchased and the new yarn. I will insert a picture here where I initially was almost finished the body, was about to get to the ribbing part, and saw like this really thick, like very noticeable line between what I had originally worked up and what the new yarn was, and it was dark, and I panicked and I just unraveled it. So I feel like I'm like super self-conscious about it this go around, because it'll really bother me if that's the case and people can notice it and then I don't want to wear it. But I think I'm just gonna finish the project and learn everything that I can from it, understand the fit. When I did frog it and like I took it, put the stitches on hold, it fits perfectly. It's a bit thicker, so I think it's gonna be more like jacket-like, similar to the other cardigan that I showed you, the crochet one. But I'm really excited. I have buttons in mind, which I'll show you here, of what I want to add to this cardigan, and I just think that it's going to be really cute once finished. So you let me know if you can see like a huge difference in between. I feel like it's not going to come across on camera and I just sound crazy, but you'll see it in the picture that I show you when I originally worked it up. But still working on it. I think I have about 20 more rows or so to add to it before I start doing the ribbing, and then it'll just be the ribbing around the edges and then adding the buttons, and then I'll have my sweater, which I'm also hoping to finish before it stops getting cold here. But yeah, so all in all, my 2026 goals are finishing all my WIPs. With finishing all of my WIPs, I'm also hoping to create patterns. So learning draping, sizing, grading, and just designing and actually putting myself out there to have people test these patterns, and have that a part of my creative skill set. And then lastly, all of these are pretty much garments, and these are things that I want to incorporate in my wardrobe. I would love to really build out the handmade wardrobe of my dreams. I'd love to add knits and crochets, both accessories, garments, outerwear, what have you, to my wardrobe, to be able to customize things to the way that I like them to fit. Also incorporate color, because I don't have a lot of color in my wardrobe currently. And I just think that it'll just be fun and something even so special, because I know that I've made it for myself and all of the things that went into creating this thing for myself. So like an act of self-care and self-love. So yeah, so those are my goals for 2026. Let me know what you think about the projects that I have going so far. Let me know your thoughts on different design and what you think I should do with some of these. Do you feel like I should frog more of these? Should I start over with a lot more? Yeah, so let me know your thoughts. I'm really excited to be back on this channel, posting more consistently, and show you what I end up getting up to with completing all of these this year. Thank you for joining me, and have a great 2026.